What's up, fellas? A big welcome to you all from the Russian Federation, Sochi, Krasnodar Krai, the former host city to the 2014 Winter Olympic Games, and also one of the host cities of the 2018 FIFA World Cup. So, thanks for joining yet another episode of RPG, the Red Bull Galaxy. This is your host, and today I want to speak about something that just crossed my mind this morning. And they say that when you're working out, this is also just one of those things I want to share with you all. You get sometimes some of the greatest ideas when you're working out, simply because the brain is releasing all kinds of endorphins: serotonin, epinephrine, norepinephrine, dopamine. And these hormones don't just make you feel good. You get this adrenaline rush after your workout, which just makes you feel amazing. But at the same time, these hormones are actually responsible for generating some of the coolest ideas. And this is why I always say, if you want to do your best work, do it within 2 to 3 hours of your workout expiring, because you'll be full of energy. Your brain will be releasing all these amazing chemicals, and you'll be able to perform your best work. Or at least it works for me that way. So without further ado, what I want to talk about today is what I call the ice cave analogy. Now, a lot of you watching this, you might have experience with women, and you might just naturally assume that when I speak about the ice cave, that I'm referring to women that are cold, women that are emotionless, or they are just conniving, etc. But actually not. That's not what I'm referring to when I speak about the ice cave. What I'm actually referring to is one specific incident that happened to me a couple of years back when I visited a place with my then girlfriend. There's this place in a Russian city called Perm-Krai. Perm-Krai is the major Russian city where this place is located. But when you travel, I think it's about somewhere between 65 or 70 kilometers away from the main city, somewhere on the outskirts, you'll find a small city, a small town actually, a small village if you may, called Kungur. And in the vicinity of Kungur, their major tourist destination is a small place called the Kungur Ice Cave. Now, the location of this ice cave is in the Ural, or the Ural Mountains. Okay, the Ural Mountains is one of the places where President Vladimir Putin has not just one but a series of nuclear bunkers. So in other words, in the event of a nuclear war taking place, the Ural Mountains would be the place of choice for the Russian government officials and the very elite and the very wealthy to seek protection in terms of nuclear bunkers, because of how deep these bunkers go underneath the Ural Mountains. It's very, very secure, it's very, very safe, and offers maximum protection in case of nuclear fallout. Now, inside this mountain, or shall I say inside and underneath this mountain, is a very unique ice cave called the Kungur Ice Cave. And I was fortunate to have been a guest at this tourist destination, and I want to tell you all how this actually makes an analogy to a lot of women. So what happens is that when you get to the ice cave and you pay your fee, of course you got to pay a fee because it's a tourist destination. It's a very famous one at that, and it's very beautiful, at least when you get to the entrance of the cave. So what happens is that after you pay your fee and you go inside the cave, what happens is that you see all these icicles, and it's illuminated with all these beautiful colors. So imagine you go into a cave, and there's these beautiful ice crystals. And not just that, you've got all these different color lights illuminating. So you've got this bright red, you've got bright yellow and bright blue, and just think of all the most beautiful, a symphony of all the most beautiful colors that change one color after the other. And in many cases, as you're walking past the few first meters or the few first feet, if you're from USA, because I know in USA they speak about feet and inches and yards, and in South Africa and pretty much everywhere else in the world we don't speak about feet and inches, we speak about centimeters and meters, etc. Anyway, so what happens is that as you're walking through the first few meters of the ice cave, you've got all these different ice structures. It's not just icicles hanging from the ceiling. We're talking about beautiful carvings of ice, and the lights are set up in such a way that every single step you take, you see all these ice crystals, and you see these ice sculptures changing with fluorescent colors, and you just think, oh my god, this is so beautiful. It's so beautiful, it actually helps to improve your mood because of the way that the colors change, and you just get this impression that the whole ice cave, you know how deep you go into it, because it's about, depending on the speed you walk, it's about 1 to 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on you, in terms of walking. But then what happens, you know, very quickly, as you walking through this ice cave, and I think it's probably about 5 or 6 minutes into it, all these beautiful lights, they just stop. And then what happens is that as you get deeper, I would say from about the 6th or the 7th minute into the ice cave, what then happens is that it's just normal white fluorescent lighting. There's no more beautiful colors changing. There's no more symphonies of illuminescent light changing one after the other. None of that, okay? And you get this feeling, oh my god, I feel scammed. Like, what the fuck, man? You know, what happened? And like, and you're like into it now. You can't just go back, because what happens is that it's one way in and one way out. So you can't go back to the entrance, because they said that if they keep the door open for too long, the hot air is gonna come in, and you know the ice sculptures might melt, and they want to avoid that. So you can only walk forward. So you're like, oh man, but the rest of the ice cave is so boring. It's just, you know, it just looks dull. It just looks kind of boring, and you kind of walk through and you just see long tunnels, and you see some water, because it's a small little, I won't call it a dam because it's not that much water, but you find these pockets of water as you're walking through the cave, and maybe here and there you'll see a small little lizard or a small, very small crocodile at these different parts of the cave. And the rest of it, it's just boring as fuck, you know. And we had this tour guide walking with us, pointing into this and that direction. There's a few steps going up and down, and you know, there are some interesting things in there, but it's not as exciting as the beautiful lights were as you were coming into the cave. And we just wanted to get out of there ASAP, okay? And somewhere along this cave, I would say maybe about 45 minutes into it, what happened was that the fluorescent light had actually shut down. There was a momentary power failure, and it was like completely dark. You couldn't even see your hand in front of your body. It was completely dark. And fortunately, the tour guide, she had some candles on her, all right? And then what happened was that she lit it up, and fortunately we were able to walk, I think, another 15 minutes, and then the lights went back on, and eventually sorry, I just got a notification. Let me just quickly answer. Yeah, so then fortunately we eventually found our way out. And you know, let me make the example of the ice cave with a lot of women. Now remember, I said at the beginning, as you enter the ice cave, you see all these icicles hanging from the ceiling. You see all these beautiful ice sculptures of animals and things, all carved out in ice. And you see all these different color lights, you know, that's illuminating these ice sculptures and you think, oh wow, you're in for this major treat, and then when you get deep in, not even deep into it, just 5 or 6 minutes into it, they close the door, you can't go back, and there's no more ice sculptures, there's no more icicles, there's no more illuminating lighting up, and getting you excited. It's just boring as fuck. So what happens is that a lot of women, they are like this ice cave, whereby they're beautiful when you meet them, okay? They are extremely exotic, and you get so excited when you meet them the first time. You go on 1 or 2 dates, the sex is amazing, and they do all kinds of things you want them to do. They say everything to make them appealing to you, but the moment you get into a relationship with them, just like the ice cave, there's no more bright colors, there's no more illuminating lights, the excitement is gone. Either the quality of the sex goes down or the frequency of the sex goes down, and there's no more excitement. And just like, as was with the example with the ice cave, what then happens, you can't go back, you can't just go back to the door where you came in, because what then happens is that the ice might melt, and you're like, oh fuck, okay, let's just get through with this and let's get it over and done with. And unfortunately, a lot of women are like this. So you get caught up with this beautiful picture that was painted at the start of the ice cave, and then you kind of lose yourself and you think, ah, shit, what the fuck. And another example, as I said, so the lights went out, and we thought, oh shit, we can't even see our hands in front of our eyes. And unfortunately, or fortunately, this tour guide had this candle and we could find a way out, but we were not very excited at the end of it. It was just exciting for the first few minutes. And I think a lot of times, we get caught up in relationships or marriage, if you may, and that exciting light that was there in the beginning is now gone, and then you think, what the fuck, man, I just got handed a bad deal. And I think what we should do as men is actually to safeguard ourselves and just be upfront with women and say, look, if you're going to get into a long-term relationship with me, there's just got to be some truths here that needs to be said. Okay, you got to say to her, look, I'm with you for these reasons. I'm with you because I'm looking for somebody to complement my life, not somebody that's going to take it over. I'm not going to change my life for a woman. I want somebody that's going to complement me. So you're still going to do your own thing. You're still going to pursue excellence. You're still going to pursue your craft or your purpose in life. And even when especially if you're going to get married. Now, personally, with the way that laws are today, laws that are primarily in favor of women when it comes to alimony, when it comes to child support, when it comes to divorce, rape, etc. I still do not encourage men to get married with the way laws are today. But who knows, in the future, things might change where, lawmakers, they might decide, what, men are actually getting a bad deal, and we're going to change the laws in such a way that if a woman decides to divorce rape a man, that she gets nothing, or she just gets the little bit that she put into it, and that's it. Okay, and if that happens, now I'm not saying it will, I'm saying it could possibly happen that way. Or if there are some blue-pilled beta male cucks that's going to do what they're going to do, regardless of what I say, regardless of red pill knowledge, then if you're going to go that way, if you're going to get married and nothing's going to stop you, then at the very least, tell her, listen, things are good right now, as it was with the ice cave when the lights were all on and we thought this was going to be a great expedition, etc. But let me just tell you, if you stop giving me sexual satisfaction, or if the frequency of sex goes away, or it becomes less and less, I'm going to leave you. Like, I'm not going to wait until days become weeks or weeks become months, and because at the same time, even though women lose their SMV, their sexual market value, much sooner than men, men do age like fine wine and women do age like milk. But at the same time, even though men age slower, than women, they still do lose their sexual market value over time, even though it happens at a slower rate. Okay, so you can say to her, listen, if we are going to get married, if we are going to get into a long-term relationship, if later I find that the sex or the frequency of it goes down, I'm definitely going to leave you. I'm going to find someone else that can give me what I want, because at the end of the day, if a woman cannot supply you with the sexual satisfaction that you want, what's the point of you staying? Because even if, for example, and I don't encourage cheating at all, but when a man cheats, he still provides financially, materially for the woman and for the family. But if a woman cheats, it's actually worse, because then that one thing that she promised you, which is sexual exclusivity, okay, that one thing is no longer there. What's the point? And that's all I want to say. So guys, think about the ice case analogy. Think about what she brings to the table, and always arm and prepare yourself for what lies ahead, because it's like so many tourists that get caught up with the analogy of the ice cave. They think, oh shit, we're going to see an ice cave, and the first few minutes is so exciting, and the rest of the ice cave, the whole thing is going to be full of ice sculptures, and it's just going to be amazing with all these beautiful lights and colors entertaining us and making us feel amazing. And then later you find out actually 80 or 90% of the time this whole thing was shit. For the to safeguard yourself against that, just have an exit clause at the beginning and say to her, listen, if you do not keep delivering the sexual satisfaction that I'm expecting, you out. You give her a red card, you tell her you're fired, I'll find someone else. Just safeguard yourself, be smart, keep taking the red pills. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and click on the link below. There's going to be a link that will teach you how to find your purpose and make money online, because I'm currently living as a Russian citizen. I'm not from Russia, I'm from South Africa, and I'm earning money online by selling software which allows me to actually earn an income in US dollars, convert it into Russian ruble, and spend it as if I'm an American citizen, spending US dollars in a country where $1 is as if you're spending $5 to $10. So guys, like, comment, subscribe, holla back. Cheers.